Today, I'm going to teach you how to make an AI-powered customer service agent that learns over time. This is a really small project that we took on from one of our clients with the agreement that we could use it as content for you guys. This was for a business broker. These guys sell businesses to other people. Their problem was whenever they received an email with a question about a business, they had to go and find the document that's related to that business, look through the document, find the answer to that question, and then respond to the email. So what we built was an AI that would listen to the email. Whenever anybody had a question about a business, it would find the right document, find the answer it needed, and create an email as a draft ready to send to that customer. This way, the only thing the client needed to do was review the draft, make sure it sounds correct, and send the email. Whenever the AI encounters a question that it doesn't know the answer to, it will leave a warning message in the draft email, and it will add that question to a Google Sheet so that we can leave the answer and the AI gets smarter over time. Enough of this chit chat. Let's jump right in. This is the workflow that we will be building today. Now, if you don't want to follow along with the tutorial, there is a download link to download this workflow down below, so be sure to check that out. All right, the first node that we're going to connect is our Gmail trigger node. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over to console.cloud.google.com. I will leave a link in the description below. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to search for Gmail API, and we're going to click Enable. Next, we're going to look up for Drive, Google Drive API, and we're also going to enable this. Now, I've already done that. Once they're both enabled, you're going to be brought to this screen here. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to configure your OAuth consent screen. So click on that. Go ahead and give it a name. Make sure you put the support email. You can give it a logo if you want. With the authorized domains, you need to put the sub-level of your N8N. So my N8N is beast.horizon.dev. So we're going to use just horizon.dev. Then we're going to put the developer contact information right there, and we'll click Save and Continue. In terms of scopes, click Add or Remove Scopes. Just check them all and click Update. And then click Save and Continue, and it looks like we're good to go. Now go over to Credentials, click Create Credentials, go to OAuth Client ID, choose Web Application, give it a name, give it the redirect URI. Now if you go back to your N8N and you go to create a new connection, the URL is right here. So go ahead and copy this URL, go back over and paste the URL right there. Click Add URI and paste the URL right there. Then click Create. Now we have our client ID and our client secret here. We're going to copy those and paste those in. Now I already have them, so go ahead and steal this information. I'm going to delete it right now. Awesome. Now that we have our Gmail account hooked up, we need to do one more thing. We have to hook up our Google Drive account. So you can actually go to Home, click Credentials, add a credential, add a Google Drive OAuth, click Continue. And you want to paste the same client ID and the same client secret that you did previously. Now I've already done this. It's right here. We'll be using this shortly. Do you find building workflows complicated and you just want to get a little bit of help? Well, I'm offering a free 15-minute call to help you with whatever you may need. So be sure to check out the link down below. We'll jump back into the workflow. Now we're going to do a Gmail trigger that will check every minute for a message received. And it's going to give us an amazing email. Now I already pinned an email that I received here. It says, "Hey Chad, how much is the EBITDA? How many employees are there? Thank you." In the subject of the email, you can see that there is a business ID number right here. This is how we're going to be identifying the businesses. The next node is the OpenAI node. Now, in order to hook this up, we're going to go to platform.openai.com/settings/organization/API-keys. I will leave a link to that in the description below. And we're going to create a new secret key. Name it whatever you want. Give it your own project and create the key. Go ahead and copy that key. I'm going to delete it because I've already done this. Then go over here, add a new one. Just put the API key right there. Save it. You're good to go. Now, this one is messaging an assistant, so I'm going to show you what the assistant prompt is. So I'm going back over to platform.openai.com, and we'll go over to the playground assistants right here, and we're splitting the questions from the email. So basically what this AI is doing is if somebody asks multiple questions in one single email, it's going to extract the questions and extract the business ID and then export them as a JSON so that we have the business ID, the question separate. So we can go through and answer each questions individually. Now, here's the prompt for that. Now, I'm not going to read it out loud, but it will be in my blog post down below, so you can copy paste it really easily. Go ahead and save that. Make sure it's GPT-4o. Then go back here, make sure you're messaging the right assistant. And then here we're going to add the subject and the body of the email right here. Business inquiry 3564, and then the body. The output looks like this. We have the questions, each question, and the business ID related to the question. Now, this code node, what it's doing is it's extracting the data from the JSON file and making it easily usable for the loop over items. I will leave this code in the blog post below. For each question, the first thing we need to do is get the right FAQ document, okay? Now I'm going to show you what this document looks like right now. All right, so here is one of the test documents. It's an FAQ document with questions and answers to the questions that gets added to daily. All right. As you can see, we put an ID number as the name of the document. It's the same ID number that you can find that comes with the questions. This is how we're going to make sure we're accessing the right document. Now here I'm using an HTTP node to contact Google Drive. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because N8N doesn't have a good node to search for files by name. So I went ahead and made my own. Basically we're doing a get method. The URL will be /drive v3 files. The authentication is predefined credential type. And we're going to add our Google Drive OAuth 2 API that we connected earlier. And then we just make sure we select the right one. It'll authenticate us automatically. Don't have to do anything. And then we're putting Q for query. And we're looking for any file that contains this name within this folder right here in parents. So I'll show you what that looks like. Name contains this file name and it's in this folder, which is right here. So when we run this, it will actually grab the ID of this document right here. So let's go ahead and test it and see what happens. So we can see it found the right file and it responds with a file ID. So then in the next one, we're going to extract the file info with an HTTP node. Now, why am I not using a download node from N8N on the Google Drive? Now, why am I not using a Google Drive node to download the file? Well, because if I do that, it downloads the files. Sometimes the files are in different formats. It could be docx, it could be TTF, it could be a PDF, it could be a Google Docs file. And because of that, N8N doesn't know how to get the text out of all those types of files. It would make the workflow really complicated. So instead what I'm doing is I'm pinging the Google Drive API and I'm telling it, hey, I just want the text. I don't want anything else. And so it responds with only the text within the document. So here we're going to use the same authentication that we did before. We're changing the URL and in the query parameters, we're putting meme type text plain. Once we grab the text, we're going to answer the question. So here's the prompt that I'm using in order to do that. I'm basically saying that you're a customer service agent. You need to answer the question given the text below. And if you can't find an answer to the question, just say, no idea. Now, in this AI agent, we're doing a conversational agent with the prompt defined below. We're supplying the question here and the answer right there. And we're using the OpenAI chat model with the same OpenAI account that we hooked up previously with the GPT-4o mini. Once we get the response, we're going to format the response in an easy way for us to deal with the data later. So what are we doing here? We're defining the question, the business ID, the answer, and the link to the document. Now, why the link to the document? Well, because later on, if it doesn't have the answer to the question, we want to be able to reference back to the original document so that we can add the answer to the question later. So as you can see, how many employees are there? There are currently 5 employees in the business. This includes the 2 owners who manage various aspects of the company and 3 other employees who play key roles in customer success and marketing. And then we have a link to the document, which is the same link to this document right here. Then we have an if node. Now this if node is looking to see if the AI cannot find the answer to the question. So if we go to the first question, AI couldn't find the answer. The AI responded with no idea. So I'm saying, hey, if the answer contains no idea, then the AI couldn't find the answer. Then we're going to add the question to a Google Sheet. Now, let me show you how to connect Google Sheets account. It's almost exactly the same as the other two accounts that we just connected. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to type Sheets, Google Sheets API. We're going to enable it. And then we're going back over to credentials and go ahead and copy the same client ID and client secret. You can click edit here to look at it. And with that, you can go ahead and add them right here and right here. Now, basically what we're doing is we're adding a row to the sheet from business inquiry sheet, sheet 1, you can call this whatever you want, and we're just mapping the columns automatically. The reason why is because we already set it up back here. And the sheet looks like this. So we have our question, the business ID, the answer, and the document. So the customer can then click on the document, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then add the question and the new answer to the document so that the AI knows the answer to the question in the future. Now this concludes the loop on the loop over items. Now we have to create the draft email. So first what we'll do is we'll format the questions. The reason why we're doing this is to make it easier for N8N to pass the information over to ChatGPT. Then we have one final prompt here, which I will leave in the link below. Basically says your job is to construct an email. If there are any questions that are unanswered, be sure to add this in the email as a warning, telling them how many questions are missing. Here's what a sample email looks like. If all the questions are answered, you don't need to include the warning. Here's the original subject. Here's the original email. And here is the answers to the original question. Then it will create the email. Now it looks like this. I'll show you what it looks like here in a moment in the Gmail account. Then we have our final Gmail node, which creates a draft with the original subject, which we grabbed from the very first node. We have the text, which we grabbed from the last node. The thread ID, now this is really important to create a draft. If we go back to the first node, we have a thread ID right here. This will allow us to create a draft responding to the thread, but we also have to respond to the to email, which is the from email from the previous one. And here's the from. You can just grab it right there, put that in there, and it will respond just fine. And if you did the automation correctly, you should get a wonderful looking draft email that looks just like this. We can see that the AI was unable to answer one question, so I can look, see what the question is, add the answer based on the sheet, but the email looks really, really professional and really good. I hope that this video helped you guys out. Now, if you guys would like to level up your N8N game, please be sure to check out my crash course video on API calls with N8N. And without further ado, you guys have a wonderful day.